Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we're diving into the business of fun. We're talking about the game show business, your trivia nights, karaoke, music bingo at the local pub. But look, we're not going to talk about how to actually host a game. Nope. Today is all about the methodical, literally spy-like process of market research. We want to make absolutely sure your new venture survives out there. So let's jump right into this covert operation.
So here's a question for you. What do you think is the absolute quickest way to just completely fail in the game show business? The answer is pretty simple. Launching blindly. Going out into the market without doing your recon is a guaranteed trap. I mean, you could have the absolute best trivia questions, the top-of-the-line sound system, but if you don't know your market, you're just going to waste a massive amount of time and energy.
To make sure that doesn't happen to you, we're going to treat this like a strict mission briefing. Here is the agenda for today's explainer. Number 1. Defining your target market. Number 2, digital reconnaissance. 3, avoiding the replacement trap. 4, undercover field operations. And 5, sizing up the competition. All right, let's hit step 1.
Step 1, defining your target market and setting your boundaries.
Listen, before you even think about pitching a show, you have to know exactly where your playing field actually is. You need a starting point, right? So first, sit down and literally define your area. Are we talking a specific set of zip codes in a big metro area, just one city, maybe a couple of counties? Once you've got that geographic boundary locked in, your next move is to map out all the potential venues inside it. We're talking every bar, every restaurant, but, and this is super important, you need to immediately cross off all the fast food joints. They just aren't real prospects for this kind of entertainment. Now sure, your territory might expand later once you're a massive success, but right now, you absolutely need this strict, focused starting point.
Moving on to Phase 2, digital reconnaissance and building the master spreadsheet.
Notice how we haven't even left the house or picked up the phone yet? Honestly, this step is arguably the most crucial part of the whole shebang. You've got to do a deep digital dive before making any contact with venue owners. Get on their websites, scour their social media, and dump all that juicy data right into a master spreadsheet. You want to track the venue name, their online presence, the kinds of shows they're already running, and of course spot any potential opportunities. Doing this advanced recon is exactly what stops you from making blind sales calls and just burning your time. Plus, when you do finally reach out, having all this background knowledge makes you look like a highly legitimate business. You'll be someone actually worthy of a sit-down meeting.
Once your spreadsheet is packed with data, you can sort it by show type to figure out your game plan. It gives you this amazing bird's-eye snapshot of the whole market. For example, say you sort your list and suddenly realize your target town is just flooded with karaoke. Well, that tells you something incredibly valuable. It means there's a massive gap and a golden opportunity to pitch something totally different, like trivia or music bingo. See, you're using hard data to find your opening.
All right, step 3, avoid the replacement trap. This is the ultimate rookie mistake.
This right here is the biggest trap in our industry. On one hand, you have this idea of trying to replace an existing show. You might think, well, my trivia is way better than their trivia, I'll just take their gig. But let me tell you, that is a very, very low probability of success. Why? Because the current vendors already have established relationships with the owners, the management, the staff. And think about it. If a venue manager hired that vendor, firing them basically means admitting they made a bad call. And people hate doing that. On the flip side, we have the much smarter strategy, pitching brand new shows on open nights. This is absolutely your best path to success. By bringing in your own fresh shows, you build positive buzz around your business. And over time, as venues see how great you are, those organic replacement opportunities will naturally come to you without you having to go around aggressively stealing gigs.
That brings us to Step 4, undercover field operations, the stakeout.
Okay, so your digital intel is all gathered. Now, it's time to actually step away from the computer. I absolutely love this quote from our source material. In these visits, you are basically more like a private investigator, gathering information to make a case. Think about that. You aren't just popping into a bar to grab a quick drink. You're putting on your detective hat. The more on-the-ground data you gather, the better your business decisions are going to be.
So, how do we actually run a successful venue stakeout? It's all about being highly efficient. You want to pick a night where several different shows are happening really close to each other. And listen to this. Do not stay for the whole show. You literally only need to be there for maybe 10 to 15 minutes at each spot just to get a good read on the room. While you're hanging out, discreetly snap a few pictures with your phone. You want to capture the host, their equipment setup, and the vibe of the crowd. You are documenting what the market actually looks like in the real world, totally unfiltered from those perfectly curated social media posts.
And finally, step 5, sizing up the competition, profiling the suspects.
So you've got your undercover photos, you've seen the shows in action. Now ask yourself this when you sit down to review your field notes. Are they chugging back beers during the show? I know it sounds kind of funny, but it's a very serious metric of professionalism. You're out there looking for weaknesses, things you can capitalize on when you eventually present yourself as the reliable, professional alternative.
Here are the exact visual clues you need to be looking for. First up, appearance. Is the host neatly dressed in a company-branded shirt, or are they just looking super casual and sloppy? Second, engagement. Are they actively working the room and building a great vibe, or are they just standing there going through the motions? Third, take a really hard look at their equipment. Is it crisp, modern gear, or is it old, beat up, and held together with duct tape? And lastly, the environment itself. Is the room packed with high-energy players, or is it sparse and completely dead? Every single weakness you spot during this recon is going to be a major selling point for your future pitches.
Now, beyond just the visual quality, you have to understand exactly who you're up against from a business structure standpoint. Your competitors are generally going to fall into two main camps. The first group, larger professional agencies running multiple shows with a whole roster of hosts. The second group, and you'll see this all the time, are single operators. These are almost always moonlighting DJs, basically folks who make their main living doing weddings, private parties, or club gigs on the weekends, and they're just hosting trivia or music bingo early in the week to pocket some extra cash. Because these single operators are treating this as a side hustle, the quality of their game shows is often just not up to the standard of a dedicated professional company. They might literally just be going through the motions to grab that Tuesday night paycheck. But, and we really have to remember that rule we talked about earlier, even if they're a moonlighting DJ running a mediocre show, they still have that existing relationship with the venue. And that still makes them a low probability target for you to replace. So again, you want to focus your energy on pitching brand new nights rather than trying to fight an entrenched, even if average, DJ.
Ultimately, all of this covert, spy-like research boils down to one very simple truth. Knowledge is power. When you finally walk into a venue to pitch your game show, you aren't just guessing anymore. You know exactly what shows are in the area, you know exactly what the competition looks like, and you know exactly where the open gaps are in their weekly schedule. Gathering this intel is quite literally the difference between looking like a total amateur and being a professional. It proves you are a legitimate business that is absolutely worthy of their time.
So, we've walked through the entire intelligence gathering operation. You know how to define your map, build that master spreadsheet, conduct those undercover stakeouts, and profile your competition without falling into the replacement trap. So, now that you've built your case and profiled your targets, what kind of show are you going to pitch first? Think about it. Take a good hard look at the data in your market and go make it happen.